And welcome to System.debug level 7. Oh, and welcome to System.debug level 72. 72. We're your hosts, Megan Brocky, aka Megan SF, and
Nate Pepper, aka S-Force, be with you.
We're here to talk to you this week about Trailhead Dx and community fun. Oh my gosh, y'all, it is Trailhead Dx week. Who's excited?
Woo!
Hey, Nate, do you remember that time when I found out that Luke Skywalker was speaking at Trailhead Dx? And I was like, Nate, I'm flying to San Francisco. What hotel are you staying at?
I'm staying at the Dubs.
Nate, I'm staying at your hotel. I hope you got 2 beds. I'm going to meet me some Luke Skywalker.
One of the shortest walks to Moscone. Must love it. Must love it. Yeah. And then we ended up on the Trailhead Dx Recap reel.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was so much fun. And
yeah.
All I kept saying was, I met Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
That was Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you got to meet Luke Skywalker. I got to see Mark. I got to see him from afar. I actually was probably more excited about the year before when we got to see Damon Lost Rider. I
never saw Lost.
But that was
I've never seen a single episode.
That was pretty soon after I had just finished the whole series on Netflix, and I got a much better seat during that keynote. So I was giddy as a schoolgirl during that. But seeing that recap reel, which we will link to down here, right? Yes, the interview.
We're like stars.
Shining stars. So,
the only Salesforce clip I've ever had.
So for those who've never maybe heard of Trailhead DX and are tuning in.
and really quick, for those of you that don't know who Luke Skywalker is, he is Mark Hamill, who also is an amazing voiceover actor.
Check out his voiceover acting work.
So good.
Link will not be provided down here. You can Google it up here.
You just gotta know.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Trailhead DX. So we actually met at Trailhead DX long ago. These Salesforce events are so great for meeting new best friends for life.
And what makes Trailhead DX different than, say, Dreamforce or World Tours?
Wow, so much, Nate. So much. For one, it's made for developers. And
Throwback Monday.
It's special for us nerdy type people. Yeah,
so a long time ago, gosh, I think my first experience with something small like that was CloudForce back in 2011 or 12. 2011, I think, because it was before I first went to Dreamforce.
It's not even as big as my first Dreamforce back in 2009.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so Salesforce has had a long history of throwing events smaller than Dreamforce, not only regionally, like World Tours or, gosh, they've had so many names by now, but they do come out and do outreach to places that are far outside of the Bay Area so that people don't need to come to San Francisco in the fall for Dreamforce. The first one I remember was CloudForce, or Cloudstock.
Oh,
there we go.
Yes.
2011, and it was interesting. It wasn't a Salesforce only. It was like, we're going to be a big partner of this, but there were, I can't remember now. I was only there for Salesforce stuff, but there were people like Amazon.
So long ago.
Yeah, there were other cloud. I'm sure there was an Azure presence, and
Throw your Z's out there.
I'm only a mixing DJ. I'm not a radio DJ. Azure, AWS, which are still strong partnerships with Salesforce to this date. But I think that might have been a one-off year for CloudStock. Like the original Woodstock, I'm not sure the 94 one counts. We'll never know.
Woodstock still happens.
the Woodstock, yeah, exactly, right, came back. And so, but Cloudstock, I think, was a one and done deal. And then I'm not sure if they had any iterations of a smaller version of Dreamforce hosted in San Francisco between then and the first Trailhead DX. But after the launch of Trailhead DX, we had our were you at the first one? Because I only came to the second and third.
I came to the second and third.
Yeah. So the first Trailhead DX was essentially something in the spring, smaller, and focused on admins, developers, and kind of
specifically more developers and architects, not so much admins.
True.
There wasn't really an admin track at the first, what I hear.
It's focused more on the builders and less so the doers or the sellers, right? Which I think makes up 50 to 75% of the Dreamforce population, right? Is people that are there to network and build their brand, etc. And Trailhead DX to me seemed like a place where people could actually dig into the learning of it and the building of Salesforce rather than the not busy work, but once Salesforce is all built, it's used for stuff. And then we're kind of out of the, like technically if nothing breaks,
there was that whole section for Internet of Things. And there was a lot more about DX, and there was more on Lightning design versus just on Lightning. More on Einstein in terms of what makes up Einstein versus how to use Einstein for sales. So it was definitely more of the technical side of Salesforce versus more of the using Salesforce day to day. And it is so much fun. Oh my gosh, it is just so much fun. The sessions are a blast. It's shorter. It's not a week. You're there for just 2 days. And it's not ginormous. It's all in Moscone West. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, I love it.
So fast forward to Back to the Future, 2020. Trailhead DX is happening in less than a week.
It's this week. It's Thursday.
Exactly. And it's all virtual.
And it's virtual. And it's free. Oh my gosh, you don't have to fly. You don't have to get a hotel. And you don't have to get a pass.
There will be no lines for the after parties.
No. And what's really great is to make sure that we're all still staying connected, we're all still staying involved. There are a number of wonderful people in the community. There is Jessica Murphy, there is Rachel Watson, there is Misty Jones, there is Monica, not is Blank, that are all working on ways that all of us are able to stay connected and to still have parties while we are out there with devs. There's a dance party. There is karaoke. There is a scavenger hunt. We are having Salesforce Q&A. There is a Meet the MVP.
There's karaoke?
There is karaoke.
Sometimes I feel like this is an infomercial and you're the person selling and I'm so wait, tell me more. There's a dance party and karaoke?
It's a dance party and karaoke. All of these things that you can sign up for and register. They're happening Tuesday and Wednesday this week. So tomorrow and the day after. And you can sign up from anywhere in the world and you can participate with other people in the community to connect. So you can still participate in all that fun stuff you would have been doing if you'd be flying into San Francisco. Dude, come on.
Dude, I'm registering right now.
I hear you clicking. Not to mention, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, there's this awesome opportunity for you to ask any Salesforce questions you have about Salesforce, the Salesforce platform, Salesforce careers, to David Giller, Lauren Dunn, or this totally fabulous person, Megan Broadkey. Holy shnikes, that sounds like fun. And this is being run on a panel by Misty Jones, as well as Monica Not Is Blank. And you can check it out. You can get the registration link off my Twitter feed. Go and hit that up. Also, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, the Welly at New Zealand user group has an event going on about Salesforce communities covering security and architecture. And I am going to be the speaker for that. So you can check that out on their Trailblazer Groups page. You can also grab that link off my LinkedIn or my Twitter group or below. Come and join us.
You know what? I'm registering late, but I just went and registered for Trailhead DX. There was still space, and it took me 1.5 minutes to register. That's an amazing user experience.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic.
We will put a link in the description to register, but hopefully if you have any sort of Google foo to resolve a work headache, you should be able to find the Trailhead DX registration page. But we'll hold your hand if you would like to hold our hands through the description links. And so how do you find out about the events going on tomorrow and Wednesday?
So they are all over Twitter. They are all over LinkedIn. We will drop them in the link below. I know I have them on my feed. I have them on my Twitter and my LinkedIn. I am dropping them into Ohana Slack. I know Misty Jones is tweeting them out. Monica's tweeting them out. David Giller is pushing them out. Lauren is pushing them out. Eric Dershville is pushing them out. He is one of the Meet the MVPs that was speaking today. Lots of fun stuff going on. With devs, they have their events that are going on, so make sure to check their feed, as well as Jessica Murphy and Rachel Watson, because they are the WIT Dev user group leaders. Fantastic people that are doing wonderful things for the community. Just really great people. And pleasure speaking for their group earlier this year. They always have wonderful speakers. I was honored to speak for them, so thank you for that opportunity. And then, yeah, stay on top of social. There is stuff out there. And there is Amy Oppelinger Singh, who has her QUIP document that has been tracking events that are being put on by the community since COVID started. We'll link to that document below. The document is fantastic. There are a number of people that are out there, as well as a number of user group leaders that are continuously updating that document. So there's a single space to look in an Excel format for events that are going on around the world. Totally fabulous. So make sure to check that out. All right. Thank you, nice. Amy. Yeah.
So all right. I know that any sessions that you're looking forward to in Trailhead DX?
So one thing that's a little bit different this year is there aren't really community run sessions like there were in prior years. You know, previously one thing that was going on was that people that were out there in the community were able to submit sessions, but this year it's really a Salesforce run thing. So it's going to be a little bit different. But what I am really looking forward to are some of the architecture sessions out there, some of the sessions that exist on flow and flow testing, and some of the ways that that is going, as well as some of the before and after flows, and learning a bit more about how those are taking over some of the trigger space. And I would like to know more about this process builder to flow converter. So I'd like to see if any of the flow component sessions cover that.
Yeah, so explain this to me. So when process builders came out, it's like, oh, there's this new thing, and like, oh, but it's really a flow, right? It's a headless flow.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, it's a process builder. It's not a flow, which are two separate things. To make them in two different places.
Not really. But
well, yeah, in the UI, right? In the UI, yeah, it's like
in the UI they are, but in metadata they're not.
But in the metadata, yeah, it's like, well, this
but technically, you could take the ID out of your metadata and open a process builder and a flow before. They just were impossible to read.
See, if flow only started with C, then like it could be like mixing your chocolate with your peanut butter, because process builders are PBs, right? It's like, well, you're mixing my chocolate with my peanut butter.
There you go. There you
But
go.
then was it summer? Was this just this past release where Flo's got another one or two options in that like sort of record
Yeah, that's
collector
the
beginning?
that's where you can run them like the triggers now. They auto start like a workflow rule did. But they have the before and after save situation going on, like triggers where you gotta watch out with your IDs. And I gotta look into that more. I haven't messed with it much, Mr. Hollywood. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. This stuff is so powerful, and people are just like dropping it out there, and they're not thinking about the consequences of their actions. Yes, you can have multiple flows on an object, but you can't have multiple flows that just start. Like, multiple flows that you are triggering, but not ones that are just starting. Like, no, you ought to know what you're saying before you say it. It's terrifying, man. It's terrifying.
So let's see. I'm looking at the schedule on the Trailhead Dx Schedules page, and what is that? We're obviously going to be seeing a lot of stuff this year.
Oh,
some of the first
really
session.
quick. I want to get a quick
Trailblazing together and innovating through change, building the COVID-19 data platform. Have you had any experience so far, or what have you heard about Salesforce Care, the new work.com, etc. Right?
So we have actually done some work with Salesforce and some of the COVID stuff. We've been having a few projects there and helping out. Definitely a lot of stuff going on in terms of automation, as well as opportunities going on where Salesforce is doing a lot of great work. So I highly recommend checking out some of those sessions.
Nice. I know that our Linda Johnson, SF Godmother, I believe on Twitter, did a webinar recently on work.com. So I remember work.com from, 2011, like badges days, right? Way to give people badges. Pre-confetti. So what are you going to do? You got to give people a badge if you don't have confetti. And so the work.com that has been released is a new, completely revamped thing. And it includes pieces from Service Cloud, Health Cloud, just a whole bunch of areas that are specific to down to the sub areas in your building. Like, let's say you own the whole building and you've got several floors, managing the number of people in a space at a time, shift scheduling, but then also things as far as screening, right? Like temperature screening when you come in, all those questions that be logged, and even before that, right? That's saying, oh, people are going back to work. All of these surveys that are, Megan, you and I don't go into the office almost ever normally.
Right.
So a lot of this is just
I like to go in once a year.
Yeah, I go in twice a year, right? 1 week in June, 1 week in December. Actually, this week is our virtual co-working week at CRM Science because we're not able to all go to King of Prussia area. So we're doing kind of daily hour meetings at lunchtime. Well, East Coast lunchtime, and which is 9, which is fine for me.
Right. They flew us to Detroit in January.
See?
Yeah.
And what is it? We obviously are, having questionnaires sent out to people. Do you want to come back? How do you feel about coming back to work? And that's part of the Salesforce work.com package is the surveys part, right? Just like all the other sort of template things you've gotten through emails or this and that, or you get the census, the Census Bureau text. Oh, I guess you can't. Like my phone is. I
did.
I filled that out twice, and they keep sending me like, "This is Julie. Please fill this out." Like I filled that out twice. Like, are you doing a week by week check in? So there's getting feedback from people about how comfortable they are at home working, or what's their device connectability is huge, and that's one of the things that's part of that work.com package. So I'll put the link in the description on that. It's a nice little compressed separate. It's nice to have something from an outside point of view on a Salesforce functionality, so that you get you don't get the bashing, but you get the like, hey, heads up, this costs more, and this is a managed package, that's an unmanaged package, and just get the lowdown.
Some of the stuff that they're doing right now, especially some of the stuff that you get to try out for free, is really cool. Yeah.
So it's interesting. There'll be no theater sessions, I guess, right? When you feel like,
Yeah.
oh, I only have a theater session. I'm like being talked over.
So we've got our last 4 minutes here. So what would you say are some of your favorite TDX memories?
Oh, I mean,
besides meeting me, of course.
No, but besides meeting you, of course. But
I know.
when I met you, we have to go do something, and so I think one of the best memories of that is the what's the Irish pub just on that northwest corner of Howard and Fifth, right by the Intercontinental.
Irish Bay. No, you're talking about no, you're talking about the one everyone always goes to.
Exactly, the post Trailhead Dx, because Dreamforce, it's been 4 days.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of the name.
I know. Dreamforce after parties at the Friday that Dreamforce ends are not always likely to be made. A lot of people are coming in from out of state, out of country sometimes, and they just don't want to spend another hotel night, right? Because it's exorbitantly expensive. And so I don't really hang out I stay for the Meet the Developers session every Dreamforce I go to. I always go to it. I love to hear, Senior VP Steve just kind of like, okay, we have any more questions about things besides, secondhand old objects not having triggers on them.
Right.
Great. And it is recorded. I have found some on YouTube and Vidyard of Meet the Developer sessions. So if you've never seen a Meet the Developer sessions, please watch one.
Good.
It's great, because sometimes people come out with really great, double safe harbor, forward-looking, let's be honest, don't make purchasing decisions on this. Here's what we're thinking about. Here's what we're road mapping. And sometimes people are just whining about not having a trigger on account contact role or something, But it's obviously going to be that final happy hour that we have at San Francisco. Here, come on, you haven't beat me yet. I'm trying to stall, man. San Francisco Irish pub.
I'm trying on my phone.
Come on. The Chieftain.
The Chieftain. Yes.
I thought it was actually Irish.
No.
That was an Irish name. It's the Chieftain.
Oh, and of course, I finally type in Irish pub Moscone and Chieftains first.
Of course, yeah. No, not O'Reilly's. That's
Now, if
Union
you're
Square?
thinking of actual good Irish food, you go to the Irish Bank. Now, Melissa Mueller knows that I eat there almost every single day.
I'm not sure I've chewed a single thing at the Chieftain.
No, you don't eat at the Chieftain. You eat at the Irish Bank.
Yeah.
It's so good. They have the best Irish stew and the best soda bread. They make it there.
So what about you? Different, since you had me go first, different favorite memory of Trailhead DX.
My favorite memory of Trailhead DX would be just meeting up with everyone at different places throughout the evening.
I will say, I think it was at Trailhead DX that I brought my Mad Hatter hat.
It is that you were wearing it when we met.
A deployment fish.
It
was the same fraction as Alice in Wonderland.
It was fantastic.
That's when I met Adam. Oh my gosh, why is his last name escaping me now? Adam, YouTube Google Adam.
Adam Olshansky.
Olshansky, there we go. Adamo. Adamo. I saw him and I went, Adam, and he goes, I went, S-Force be with you. It's like, oh. And he took a picture of me and we tweeted at SFDC Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a hat war.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that wraps us up at the top.
Yeah. So everybody, please try to make sure to register for Trailhead DX on Thursday. So it would be awesome. Also, don't forget tomorrow the fun is happening.
Should we
For
actually provide them links, or should we just give them some keywords and send them on a scavenger hunt?
TrailheadDx.com. Also check out my Twitter feed at MeganSF for the links as well. And then you've also got the fabulous Ed8.
S-Force be with you.
Rock started. Until next time, 2 weeks from 2 weeks from today. Peace out, dudes.
Bye, everybody.